So today we have two really special guests. You know, Josh and June are my buddies from Hong Kong. We know each other like in person, not just internet. And we've known each other for 3-4 years now, and they are the reason why you're able to watch this interview, because they're the one who told me about Kickstarter in the first place.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know about Kickstarter until you guys share your project on
Oh, no
Facebook.
way. Very cool.
Yeah. So if I didn't see your project, I wouldn't have been doing this interview and sharing with people, you know, all the tips and tricks and strategies about Kickstarter. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't get the inspiration of putting all the best ideas and strategies in one place as a Kickstarter project. So thank you guys.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And so about their project, Josh and June created a product called the Escape Capsule. And it's a waterproof iPhone 4 case. Can you show us? Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, actually these are our T1 production samples, fully assembled. And
yeah.
I should not admit this because we're only going to claim it's going to go down about 6.5 feet. But I had it testing in my uncle's pool down to 8 feet without a leak, so that's pretty exciting for us.
Damn, that's nice.
Yeah, we're going to go through a few more revisions in the production tooling to get this thing really fine-tuned so that it's completely foolproof for usage.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So their goal was raising $30,000, and they end up raising more than $54,000. So today they're going to share with us the whole process, how they did it from start to finish. Yeah. So thank you guys for being here.
No problem.
Yeah, no, thank you. Brian, we just want to start off by saying what an honor it is that you asked us to do this.
Yeah, it's very cool.
We're so excited about your Kickstarter project, and yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. And we've had so many people ask us for tips and tricks like how to be successful in Kickstarter, so we really support what you do, and we see a need for it. It's an awesome idea, so hope everyone should back this project.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you know, when people ask you telling me that, you know, everyone asks you how you guys did it, what's Kickstarter, you guys can just tell them, hey, you know, check out this project, check out this project.
Will do.
Yeah, we will.
All right. So why don't you guys give us a little background? What are you guys doing before your Kickstarter project? Just a little background.
Well, I was fully employed, and I've been wanting to start a company for quite a long time. And June was just coming back from traveling, and we got together. Actually, we were working on I invited her into another project I was working on, another startup, to get her input, because she comes from the world of business and finance and things like that. And I'm a designer, product designer, and I wanted somebody to come into the project to give a group of designers some real-world perspective on investment and how to structure a company properly. And in the process, June and I realized we worked really well together, and we just kind of looked at each other and said, hey, well, why don't we do something?
Yeah, we found that our backgrounds are very complementary. So they're entirely different, and it's been really awesome working with Josh. Like even when we don't know what we're doing, sometimes we
necessarily agree.
We figure things out.
Yeah, no, it's great. We really work well together, and have found that our different backgrounds have really helped us to be able to tackle a problem creatively and logically. Whatever comes up. It's been an enormous learning experience.
I can imagine. So okay, so I got that. So you guys, okay, let's work together. So how did you guys come up with the project idea?
Well,
Josh and I are both adventurous people. So we both.
June, one second. Josh, can you move over a little bit so you're more center? No, the other way. There you go. Now you can see your full head. Good, good. So we're talking about the project idea.
Our project
how do you guys
idea.
come up with that?
It came out of our lifestyle, actually. So Josh and I are both really adventurous people. We met rock climbing. We're both avid rock climbers, and Josh surfs, he rides motorcycles, and I love traveling, and I fly planes. So and
we both have iPhones.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a natural project for us to do. Whenever we're at a climbing crag or waterfall or things like that, which are all over the place in Hong Kong. You've been here as well. You know that there's just a lot of outdoor adventure here. And our phones are normally tucked away in our bags, and it just seemed like a logical thing. And also seemed like a very simple thing. Hey, let's just make a waterproof housing for the iPhone. That'll be simple. Wink.
Okay, so that's where the idea came from. And did you guys do some market research and see if there's anything like there in market? Like what you guys do?
Yeah, of course. We scoured the market looking for other products, and we found there's a few bags out there, and there was one hard case that we were aware of at the time. and they were just lacking in features and functionality, and we thought we could come up with a better solution.
Okay, great. So what's next step? So you're the product designer. So what happened? You start drawing stuff, or?
Yeah, I spent the first 3 months. We started a consulting firm as well, and I was doing product design consulting, and and also teaching at the university here. And I was sketching and doing research and figuring out kind of how I wanted to construct the thing. And I came up with a solution that is actually really close to where we ended up. And the way I designed this thing was that I wanted the product to be clear. There's a lot of waterproof housings out there for cameras and things like that. And I really like the quality of a clear housing. For one, I love the iPhone. I love the way it looks. I love the design of it. And I didn't want to hide it inside some bulky plastic housing. And this this just more or less showcases the phone. And that was my design intention. And
And one of the big advantages of that design for us is that you can see the iPhone and the housing as it seals. So because it's clear, you can see the O-ring and double check that it's properly seated before you stick it in water. So it means that you don't have to guess and say, oh, is it watertight? A lot of the housings have to seal. So that was one of probably the biggest advantage of our design.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, so you thought about clear housing so you can display your iPhone, and then what? What do you need to figure out so what I'm leading to is the prototype, because you need the prototype to shoot the video and things like that. So I want to know from your designing to prototype, what step did it take? How did you guys do this?
Well, I had built a 3D model. I had built the design to a certain level, and I approached two friends of mine actually that are about our age. They're also starting their own. They have their own company as well. They're a engineering firm. They're based out of China, which we're in Hong Kong. We're really close by, and they're two Swiss German guys. The guys from our video. They're not actors. They're two actual engineers. That was actually a really fun part in filming the video because they're just being very natural and very
they're funny.
This is the escape capsule, and. Yeah, so I approached them. I showed them my design and asked them, to look over it. And we basically talked about the feasibility of it and how this could be manufactured, how we can improve upon it. And since then, since they agreed to work with us on the project, we've been working very closely with them on all the details for manufacturability, functionality, and everything that it takes to make the product a reality.
Yeah, at the start, I think Josh had worked up to something like 20 revisions or close to that?
Yeah, well, I built like 14 different models on different designs, different layouts, and this was the layout that I thought was the most interesting looking and the most functional and the easiest to produce. Our goal is to produce something that was not just worked, but something that was inexpensive to produce. It's turned into quite a technical challenge to keep the cost down because of the assembly processes behind it and how fine or how refined the tooling has to be for the tolerances. So it's been a challenge, but I feel very fortunate that Kasper and Stefan are working with us on the project. They're really, not only are they really good engineers, but I'd say in terms of how they run the company, just great customer service. They're awesome to work with. They're always there for us when we have a question or concern or need to tweak something. Yeah.
And so you were asking.
I'm asking from, say, for example, I want to create a product.
Right.
I'm not a product designer. What do I need to do to get at least to design in a prototype, functioning prototype, so I can show it to people on Kickstarter? What do I need to do?
Yeah. So we actually got to the stage where we got individually handmade prototypes off of some of the drawings and specs that Josh handed over to a model maker.
Right. So essentially, Kasper and Stefan built the first engineering data based on the designs I had done, and a few of the parameters were tweaked, but essentially they built an engineering file. So I didn't just make a model. We were making like the first engineered product, and then we took that to a model maker, a professional model maker that, although the model wasn't as precise as the production will be, it was a very precise and very well made pre-production or prototype model. But it essentially was a model,
Yeah. I think your question is really about, is it necessary to have a prototype? And the answer to that is yes.
It's yes. I'm clear about that, because we need to show it to people. Hey, I at least have some kind of thing to show it to people too. Because I think your video with the prototype just kills the. That's what like really pushed and drive your success.
Absolutely.
I looked on your Facebook. I'm like, oh crap! The first picture I see is iPhone in the water, man.
Yeah.
Click.
Yeah.
And those were our iPhones. And seriously, we didn't get a drop of water inside of our prototypes. I was, when we first got the prototypes, they were, we weren't sure how good they would be, and we were only like, 6 inches or like 10 centimeters underwater, just a little bit, and we went further and further and further until I'm diving 5 and 6 feet underwater with my iPhone at the beach, and it's worked. I've been really pleased with that.
And the other cool thing for us was we got to shoot the entire project video using the iPhone inside the case.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it demonstrated that prototype.
So let me give it back to you. See if I got it. Okay. So you need to draw out the models for your prototype, for the model, and then you got to go to a product engineer to actually engineer the files.
I think it depends on the type of product you're doing. For us, because it was waterproof, we wanted to go with an engineer before we ever went forward with the project. I think for some people, if the project is less technical, and they can build their 3D files on their own, then they can approach a model maker. There are a variety of model makers that are online resources. I think Shapeways is one. Shapeways.com is one model making resource. But it'd be hard to say based on where you're at in the world, like where model making resources would be.
Got it. Okay.
For us in Hong Kong, we have a lot of resources actually for making pre-production or short production run models.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to know like the brief step. Of course, you can't give me the details, but the brief steps of what it takes. Because if I know, okay, I need to take these steps, I can go search it on Google.
Right.
So okay. So you guys got the model came. So now what? What's the next step for you guys?
I think just testing it. So like for all inventors out there, if you have a great idea, it might be great on paper, but once you get the actual prototype, then you can see, does it actually work the way I wanted it to? And from that, we got a lot of information, and all the product testing initially was done on the prototype to validate our concept and our idea. Then we said, wow, this is awesome. We can take it underwater. We can shoot video with it. And so it really validated our initial concept.
Also, though, I highly recommend taking photographs of the model before you take it out for testing, because it's never going to be shinier than when it's first made.
Yeah.
So we had a photographer come over, another friend of mine. We're basically using friends and family resources for this entire project. I think there was 20 or 30 different people who have helped us on the project in a variety of ways. Yeah. But what we did first was photograph the model, test it out, the various features. But we went into immediately starting to shoot our promotional video with the prototype.
You went into shoot immediately?
Yeah. While the model was being made, June and I were writing the script for the video and sort of planning out how we were going to do that.
Can you tell me? Great, perfect. So because video is very important. So can you tell me about what was your thinking behind your video?
Well, we looked at projects that had been successful on Kickstarter before, and we looked at the actual structure of the video, and watched a lot of videos, and some were really boring, and some were really interesting, and so we looked at the elements that made the project videos interesting, and they were normally ones that were kind of short, had some cool stuff in it, some very quick montage shots, and then an ending scene that just tells you a little bit about the project, but essentially they weren't very long. And we tried to keep our project video to 4 minutes. And then the whole process of planning out how we're going to do the video, well, that's a whole other story. June and I have never made a video before. We have never shot video before. We've never scripted anything, and we were just kind of shooting from the hip. And we just wrote down what we thought would be cool in the video. We kind of planned out the scenes. We invited friends to come out and play with the prototypes with us, and we just shot what we could. And we also, had certain things we were trying to shoot. We didn't actually get everything we wanted to shoot, and we couldn't fit everything that we did shoot in the video.
Yeah, one of the big tips that we would say is tell the story behind your product.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just focused on here's a product, here's what it does.
This is the buttons, and
We
you know.
focused on like how would you use this
Yeah.
product, so
Yeah.
people could see, oh, I can stick it in the water, I can make phone calls, I can
Right.
take pictures or videos, and our whole product video was focused around that, like our story, our product story, what we were trying to create and capture, and really having people be a part of it. Like,
Yeah.
we wanted to get the sense of like our whole project is having fun. Having freedom, being able to take your iPhone anywhere, and so that's what we did with our video. We wanted it to be fun and exciting, and
So basically, we invited friends to come out and have a great time while we shot. I mean, we're real clear that we're going to use all this footage for the video, and everyone was really cool with that. But we just made sure our friends were having a good time, and we were having a good time too. I mean, throughout this process, there's been a lot of challenges, but our entire goal was to have fun in making this, and to have fun in the video, to make a fun product, to make a product that brought value to people's lives. So June's point about telling a story is one of the most valid things I guess you can take from this. Is like, the story you tell, period, through your branding, through your product, through your video. That's the most important element, and to be clear about what you wanted to say. And June and I were very clear. Fun. I mean, that's it. It's as simple as it gets. This product's fun.
It totally shines through from your video. I'm like, oh, that's fun. Wow. Man, I want to do that. Ooh, wow. Man, dong, 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 dong. I got that song in my head. Damn.
Oh, I've heard it way too many times. I'm so tired of that song.
Oh, man, this is quite catchy.
Choosing the song for the video, that took weeks of searching for songs. I mean, you have no idea.
How? Tell me a little about it. Like,
oh, well.
Tell me a little bit about it. How'd you search for a song that fits your video?
We wanted a surfer vibe.
Yeah,
we wanted something that really said water, like water and fun and outside.
But not nostalgic. So most of the surfer music out there is like really like old Hawaiian jingles and stuff. And man, I mean, we found all kinds of stuff. But we actually contacted the Drums. I think that's the name of the band. The Drums. They have the song "Hey Mama, I Want to Go Surfing." That's like the coolest like pop, like super fun, song ever. And the Drums basically wrote us back like, yeah, we'll think about it. And so, looking the SoundCloud, I think that's the name of the website. SoundCloud is you can search specifically for
music that's available under Creative Commons license.
Yeah, Creative Commons license.
Ah, is that what you guys used?
Yeah.
So basically, you just go on the site and just keep listening to tunes until you go like, this is it.
For days on end. And even the first time I found this track, it's got like a 2-minute long intro that's like super slow. And the person who edited our video was a friend of somebody who was in the video that we shot. So again, friends and family, everyone's helping us out with this project. And they were able to cut the music and edit it so that it's got a cool surfy flow intro, then it cuts immediately into like a nice vibe. But originally when I first played the song, people were like, that's slow. But I thought it would be cool, and it ended up working out.
Nice. Okay, so you've been working on the video. So what else? How about the funding goal? How'd you guys come with the funding goal? $30,000.
Basically, that's the minimum it was going to take to cover the cost for the tooling and the engineering fees. So we wanted to at least cover that. And there's a psychology behind how you set your funding goal, if you want to cover that, June.
Yeah, I think it didn't make sense for us to ask for everything to fully fund the project development. So we didn't want to do that. We wanted to just basically cover our tooling costs, because that would get us through the first bar just to get into production.
Yeah.
So the $30,000 almost covered it, and we just thought that's a nice round number. Let's ask for that, and if we get that level of support, then we can go forward with it. And also, it was a great way for us to test how people like the concept. How much do you like the project concept. One piece of advice we'd give Kickstarters is make sure that it's enough for you to go forward. So if you don't have additional funding yourself, don't ask for a level that's not realistic. Because if you get funded successfully, people expect a product.
Yeah. As well, if you ask for $200,000, and people are putting in their first $10, there's kind of a psychology behind that, like that they'll never reach their goal. If you ask for $10,000, people are like, well, it makes it a much easier mental barrier as to the project ever going forward. So it's a balance. Like the $30,000 was minimal in terms of the basic needs we had for getting the project going.
And it also tied our story to, like, there's a specific goal associated with the 30,000, so people get some concrete, specific milestone that they can expect. You know, like
Okay.
it really funds us into like the tooling, which means it's the first step in getting to production.
God, you guys created that. You guys communicate that. I think I remember seeing that somewhere. So how about the rewards? How did you guys come up with the rewards that you guys did? The different pricing and things like that.
A little tough. It was a little bit of guesswork, and also looking at other projects that were out there and how they priced it out. I'll give one clear bit of advice. Like, people have made these comments to us, actually. Like, they don't want extra stuff, actually. Like the T-shirts and things like that that we added onto it. Most people actually don't want that.
Yeah.
So something that would be good advice is to just focus on the thing that you're promoting, and not trying to do extra stuff. We've seen other projects where people are offering photography or something else in addition to the thing that they're offering, and most people aren't interested in that. They've come to your project for the thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I'd keep it direct to that. And also that added another level of complexity for us in fulfilling the orders, because, again, we've never sourced T-shirts before, so that's something else that, you know, we're having to do in addition to our product. And
I think also keeping the number of tiers to a reasonable level makes a big difference.
So people aren't hunting through the tiers. Like, you know, the most of our orders, of course, came in the basic, you know, $50 for the basic escape capsule. But also offering a limited edition thing through Kickstarter was something that we've seen is very successful for other people as well. And we found that people were willing to actually pay a premium for that, and that was a really important for us in getting a boost in our funding. And and since one more bit of advice about the funding time. In the research we had done, the 30 days seemed like the most it seemed like the best time frame in order to do the funding through. We've seen that projects that stay on for 2 to 3 months are getting astronomical numbers right now. I know that if we'd stayed on for more than 30 days, we could have done a lot better in terms of our funding. And I feel like that's one of our mistakes in the project, is not staying on Kickstarter longer.
Probably a key learning point for us, because we were just going viral all around the world. And so we had a lot of people want to buy the case after, or want to buy the Kickstarter edition after our project. So, you know, one of the key learning points for us was stay on longer, like stay on for 90 days.
Wow. Interesting. That's very interesting. I think they're telling people 30 days, that's like to be successful, like barely make it kind of thing. Yeah,
they're saying 30 days, I think, because the average projects that are successful are kind of, like, I've looked at projects before that had a 90-day time frame, and there's kind of a wait-and-see attitude around that. And 30 days is kind of like, well, I better buy this now because it won't be 30 weeks. And that was our idea behind it. But, you know, I think that, like June said, the reality was, like, you know, you're trying to communicate to the whole world out on the internet through all the social media and all the blogs and everything that we can. And it had just reached sort of a critical mass right when our project was closing. And that was a little like, damn, pardon my language. That was a little, you know, we wish that we could have, you know, still been around, because there's just so many requests after that, like daily requests from people all over the world that were actually expressing frustration, you know, which was, it was at the same time kind of inspiring, like people still are into it, but at the other time it's a little frustrating, and how we fulfill that. So we had created a website after that to continue to offer pre-orders, and we were kind of flooded by questions and comments, because some people weren't necessarily coming through our Kickstarter. They were coming through like web searches and stuff, and weren't viewing our project as a Kickstarter thing. They were viewing us as a company that was selling a product, and, you know, communicating that, and being a web designer, and it was just something that the two of us weren't actually capable of taking on at that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think we got to the point where we just stopped taking more orders because we had so much volume and demand. So that was a key learning lesson for us. Stay on Kickstarter for longer. Get more funding over time. I think our reward tiers themselves were really well structured. So offering a $20 discount to the retail price was really effective. You know, people thought that was the right price for it. And then the limited edition, like, people love the glow-in-the-dark arcade.
So it's giving them something a little special and a little unique. You know, it really worked. It accounted for about 1/3 of our orders through Kickstarter.
The limited edition.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, great. So you got your goal, you got your rewards, you got your video. So so I'm sure you guys thought about how you guys are gonna get the words out of your project. So what you do before your project? What work did you put in before your project about marketing?
This is a key learning lesson for us. Get your media and your press sorted out before you launch.
Oh, well before. Yeah.
What do you mean by media and press? Give me some examples.
Well, there are, I don't know how many blogs out there, writers, magazines. There's so many avenues for disseminating information and driving traffic to your Kickstarter. What we did as soon as we hit the launch button was start writing bloggers and start writing magazines, which we should have been doing. What would have worked is to do that like a month in advance to doing our Kickstarter campaign. For us, everything in the process was something we were working full time for months up until when we launched, and between the two of us, there just wasn't time to actually do all of this extra stuff unless we had delayed the product launch for a while, and we were very keen to get it on.
Yes, so we had a crash course in social media basically at the start of our Kickstarter project, and basically that's just like get to know who writes about tech. What are the important blogs that you should be featured in? We were really lucky because we got picked up by TechCrunch right away.
Yeah.
And
can I say something? So what happened? So you guys didn't do anything beforehand?
Not before the project launched. Like right
so
when
you go launch, you go like I better find people to.
That's what we did. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
We don't recommend that.
Yeah.
Because we didn't sleep for 30 days, literally. I mean, June and I were working in shifts, writing, I don't know, 20 to 50 emails a day and then responding to as many or more. People asking questions. And what we found was what I found was the most effective to get your project posted on the blogs was to go to the tips section. Like TechCrunch has a tips section, Crunchy, Tech Fever. I mean, there's so many different websites that just have a tip button where you can anonymously submit information, and that's actually how we got on to TechCrunch, which as soon as we got on TechCrunch, it then kind of spread like wildfire because people will repost blog posts from that.
Yeah. So the time when you're most newsworthy for any media is when you launch, because you're something new in the market.
Yeah.
So make sure you have your press lined up, because what we saw with some other successful Kickstarter projects was they got funded based on that first news announcement in the first few days.
Yeah.
And so it took us a while to get fully funded. It took us probably about 3 weeks.
No, it took us 2 weeks to get funded.
But some people got funded right off the bat because they got picked up by the press right away.
Right.
So we played catch up at the start of our project, basically.
Yeah. Got it. So you would start earlier, contacting blogs. And so can you give me, so that was a great tip. So, and you mean going to the website and going to the tip section, you're allowed to submit your tip? Is that what you're saying?
You can submit an image, a little bit of a story, and it can be anonymous or it can be from you.
A press kit is handy to have, and high-resolution images if they need that.
Yeah.
So for Kickstarter, you're actually going to need to upload your images to we uploaded to PhotoBucket. So to do that, that's how you embed your photos into your profile of your Kickstarter project. So essentially, when we send out tips, we'd send people just a link to our PhotoBucket with all the high-resolution images in there, so you don't actually have to send images to everyone. We would have a very structured email with all the pertinent links to our Facebook, our YouTube channel with our videos on there, and our PhotoBucket with all the high-resolution images, as well as a PDF with hyperlinks in it that also link to everything. We were given a lot of advice from some people who, again, are in our friend network about how bloggers and writers work. And basically, they want a story, and they don't want to have to invent the story. They want you to kind of tell them what's up. So we were writing people, and telling them our story rather than just saying, "Hey, look at our project." And I think that's a good point to get through as well. Like, have it prepared for them so it makes their job easy to put your idea online. And like we've already covered, our whole concept was fun, so we're illustrating that and then writing about that too and a bit about ourselves.
Yeah, so the story for us was something like, well, where do you put your iPhone when you go to the beach?
And then
inside the escape capsule.
Right.
And so it was a story already that media could pick up and say, oh yeah, I get that. Like, I don't know where I put it on the beach. And so it made it really easy for anyone to write about our project, because we just would say, here's the story behind it. Where do you take it when you go snowboarding? Like a lot of people use Ziplocs or something like that.
Yeah.
And here's a solution for it.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that you had everything prepared, like a story, but
Yes.
you don't do you, and then because you're saying that photo bucket links and everything, is that what was that in an email that you're
Yes.
talking about? Okay.
Yes.
And then
Email,
you said, yeah. Go on.
or if it's a tips link, that it'll be something embedded in their website where you can embed, where you just send the, it's not necessarily through an email, but you're sending it through their tips section. And usually there's a character limit on how much you can submit, so you have to be pretty short and sharp in terms of what you're sending.
So basically, you're just working shifts into submitting these things to places that could possibly be interested in your project.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't do any. So you guys didn't do any marketing. But you guys did some. Do you guys? We're still talking about before, but now we're going to a launch now. Since you guys saying you guys didn't do anything. But how big is your network before your for example, Facebook, Twitter? What was your network before you launch?
Friends and family.
Yeah. I probably have like 900 friends, and Josh has something like
300 or 400.
Yeah, on Facebook, and then we have our social networks, our Twitter, our so one tip: use only social media that you're going to manage. So if you're on Twitter, then use Twitter to communicate with people. If you're on Facebook, Facebook is a great channel.
Yeah.
So like set up a page and get that ready, and make sure your content is populated before you launch. I think having a good website to back up your product story is great. So we use Photo Bucket for our images, but we could have parked that on our website so everyone could go there and find it. And one tip is have that set up before you launch, because it stays on Kickstarter after, and Kickstarter just generates a lot of press afterwards. So people always find your Kickstarter page, and those images will be on there forever. So that's what our Photo Bucket we're still using now.
Right.
Because that's what we set up at the start. So. Don't think of it as just one Kickstarter project. Like, think of it as long-term products or project information that people want to be able to find later on. Yeah.
Good. That's good. Okay, so, oh, man, like, how can I ask you guys something? Because I just launched my project today, and I know what you're saying about, like, you should contact the press beforehand, but you need to set up the website, all that stuff beforehand. But there's so much to do, and you guys have to work full time too, right? So what would you do? So knowing that, what would you guys do if you guys do it again for just the pre-launch?
Well,
taking into account that you need to work full-time job.
Right. Well, we're in the same situation as you. Like, we're actually working on this full time for months. There wasn't a spare moment to do the press stuff, except for the thought that what we need to do. We were planning, who to contact and things like that, but we had not done anything up until the day we launched.
Yeah, you get a list of bloggers, influential bloggers and websites that will write about your product that your project is related to. So if you're a product design project, then look at product design websites. Look at tech websites if you're a tech project like us. Outdoor websites if you're that, and find out who is influential in that. So who does
my question is more like because I think most people don't understand what it takes to actually create a prototype product and putting everything, doing the video, how much amount of work that you need to put in before you start a project. Mine's only a small project, okay?
Right.
So given you guys know that, and you guys have to work a full-time job, right? Where you guys okay, great. Okay, good. So you guys are full-time working on this. At the same time, you guys couldn't do everything that you wanted to before you launch.
Yeah.
Right. So given that, if you guys can do it over again, what would you do before? So you guys know the workload.
Yeah.
Now, right? So what would you do differently now?
I would have started the project sooner. I mean, when I first started my company, the consulting firm, I was still going to the gym and swimming every morning, and we were taking this we're having fun. We had just started our venture, and we were just coming up with ideas and still working on our name. The process of naming the product, the process of naming the brand, the process of creating the graphic design and all those elements, it was very time consuming. And the more we worked on it, the more we realized there was more to work on. We outsourced as much as we could to people who were willing to work with us. But at a certain point, it just became something we had to take on, fully. So the first 3 months, we weren't, we were doing consulting work and setting up the business and the structure. But when we really got into this, this was all consuming. And I don't know how we could have done anything differently, to be honest. I mean, the reality is that if you're starting a company for the first time, you have no idea what it takes. We're sharing with you what trials and tribulations we had and what successes we had, but how could we do it differently? I mean, we did everything we could do in the time we had to do it, and that's really simple as it gets.
A lot of people told us that we were thinking about things already ahead of where a lot of projects were. So things like we got our trademarks. We talked to a patent lawyer. That's something important to do if you want to reserve your international rights. So before you display the product commercially, get it patented if it's a great idea.
And you only have to do a provisional patent. You don't have to have the full patent dialed in. Provisional patent will cover you for the world for
a utility patent.
A utility patent,
for 18 months, and then otherwise a design patent is easy to get.
So you guys had that done before you launch.
Before we launched, and also our trademarks for Catalyst and for the escape capsule, and we double-checked the names and everything. What else? We also even looked into product fulfillment, like how are we going to ship out all the products to people, and we looked at drop shipping, and they said, wow, like people don't talk to us at this stage. Like it's awesome that you guys are thinking ahead. So just like figuring out, we just took on figuring out what we didn't know as we went.
And whenever something came up, we just took it on, like full on. So it's, the awareness of the importance of things, it happened when it happened. The awareness of like how important social media was, although we were very aware that that's something you need to do to be successful up front, we didn't even know what that meant until we were actually diving into it. And then we like June said earlier, we had a crash course in what it took to do social media, and it took a lot. I mean, it took way more than we ever thought it would. Like, we're not joking when we said we didn't sleep for a month. We literally worked in shifts.
And had 4 hours of sleep at night during our Kickstarter campaign.
Mostly every night,
So, go on.
One more thing is, one thing we looked into was shipping. So a lot of people didn't work this out before Kickstarter. What we found was the simplest way was to work at price in your shipping into your product stuff. A lot of Kickstarters don't do this. They do like a $5, $10, $15 tier or something like that. More money if you ship internationally. It is really difficult to track later after you've launched your Kickstarter to find out who comes from where and how much money they put into your project. So we saved ourselves so much time and such a headache in terms of processing orders after by having just one flat shipping rate. So anywhere in the world, this is the price, and it's already embedded into your tier. Because I think
it's already embedded in the rewards.
Because a lot of Kickstarter projects will have to chase backers to say, well, this is actually $10 more to ship to Canada or something like that. It saved us a lot of work.
We're kind of lucky as well that we're shipping out of Hong Kong, which has a great postal system and a nice flat rate for all worldwide shipping. So that's a bonus or benefit for us being located out of Hong Kong.
Yeah, and actually one contact we made at CES was from the U.S. Postal Office. And they've got, you guys should check, any Kickstarter project should go check them out, because they have some sort of, they can help you with
product fulfillment service, essentially.
Where's
there's a lot of product fulfillment services.
At
CES we were approached by a guy in a suit who, was basically representing the U.S. Postal Service and how to help us fulfill
Can you say that again? And you broke up a little bit. Who?
Okay, sure. At the Consumer Electronics Show, we were approached by a representative from the U.S. Postal Service who was providing us with information on how to fulfill orders through their system. And it turns out it's a very efficient system, which we're probably going to end up using that, which it's not much different than the rates from the Hong Kong system. So.
Okay, so let's leave the shipping, because that's in the we're still kind of in the promoting the project space.
Yeah.
And for the people who are watching, we will take questions at the end, and we will just answer the questions at the end. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
So, all right. So I got you submit and write emails to everybody that who could be potentially talk about your project and put it on their blog and on their website. And at the same time, you said you have a social media crash course. Can you share a little bit about what worked, what you guys do? Like, why? Yeah. What does it entail when you say it takes a lot of work?
We tried everything.
Yeah. If you have a great product and a great story, that's fantastic. That's the basics. But then you have to get the word out.
Yeah.
So most people on Kickstarter, you have a small network, and it's not going to be enough to get yourself funded.
Yeah.
So you need to spread the word. So we just told all our friends. We asked people to share our video or to support us, basically. And don't be afraid to do that. Like, ask people, because people are generous, and if they like your project, they'll share it with everyone.
Yeah.
And we had like some surprising supporters that just sent emails to everyone, so it was really, really awesome for us. Your biggest job is to promote your project once you've launched,
I think a friend of ours sent 800 emails to his friends in Germany, like through his contact list. Yeah, we actually had a 20% of our support from Germany, or I can't remember exactly, but a large support from Germany from like one friend who just is completely stoked on our project and sent out not only a Facebook blah blah blah, but an email to a lot of his friends that aren't connected to Facebook or Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So basically, these are the work that you guys did for approaching and like asking people to share.
Yeah.
Basically,
Basically, it's like this. You're going to start with friends and family. You're going to start with your Facebook contacts, your email contacts, your family relationships. That's like an obvious step one, and don't be afraid to do that, because people in your life are going to be just completely stoked that you're trying to do something like this, and we've just been overwhelmed by the positive support from friends and family, and then friends of friends that we've never met before. And I've had childhood friends contact me that I haven't talked to in maybe 20 years. They're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe what you're doing. This is so cool." And they'll tell 100 of their friends. It's pretty amazing. Secondary to that is what we've talked about with the bloggers. So you're just going to have to cold call, cold write, do whatever it takes. I mean, really, whatever it takes. I mean, I was just researching, tech blogs. You just Google tech blogs, and you're going to find all of that. Whatever your project's about. If your project is a gardening project, you're going to Google every gardening blog you can find and every gardening magazine you can find, and you're going to write people, and they're going to write you back. Half the people would write us back and say, "Well, can we have a project to test out?" And we're like, "Well, our prototypes cost us $400 a piece. Can't send you one." So we built 4 prototypes at a cost of $400 US each, and it's nothing about this has been inexpensive or easy, but it's been very fun.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you're having fun through the process, that's something that's important to keep in mind. We're not doing this because we want to suffer, but we have had many nights of tough times. You could say.
Yeah.
But so friends and family, bloggers, writers, and there's also message boards and chat rooms and other Facebook sites that have similar content, like photography pages. Like, we found that through talking with one of my childhood friends, and Ty Cole, who's a photographer in Brooklyn. He looked at this and was just like, "Oh my God, every photographer I know is going to want one of these, because you can do." Everybody uses an iPhone for doing photography comps, for video comps, for production they're going to do later on. And this just made it easy to do that in an environment that was not very hospitable to an iPhone. So he was completely stoked on that. And then he gave us a list of websites to contact that were all photography related. So then we created a new story around photography and how this could be used in different environments. So it's social media is not just you saying something and hoping somebody will write about it. It is a conversation you're having with people. Throughout the entire project, this felt like a conversation with the world, and you're trying to manage 1,000 conversations at once. It's exciting, but it's work.
Got it. I got that. That's very clear. What you just said. That's very, very clear. I have a clear picture of what you guys did.
Okay.
In the work that it's communicated. Good. I got that. Good job, guys. All right. So you guys funded in 2 weeks, and then you guys got $54,000 when the project ended. How did it feel?
And so,
Yeah.
well, we were excited. Like, we were really, oh, okay, so the big milestone for us was when we got funded. We were so excited by that. Like, that just was like, whew, what a relief. We know we're funded.
Yeah.
We can go on and, let's start to think about the next steps, and hopefully we'll get more funding. That's awesome. 54,000 was just like...
It was cool. The way the project felt when it ended, I mean, it was like, it's really hard to describe. It was, we were exhausted, like physically and mentally, like taxed to the limit, and excited. I mean, because it was a step, it was a hurdle passed, and you know, from that point on, it's been, you know, man, the whole process has been a roller coaster. You know, and you get off the roller coaster and you realize there's another one you got to ride, or the next one's there, and so we're in the production process now. So it's really a hard feeling to describe. It's
okay. So we went through the pre-launch and also the project live promoting your project. Okay, so what are your biggest takeaways about promoting your project? Just give me one or two.
Tailor it to what people are interested in. Like create your story. Relevant to them.
Got
Especially for people who are going to write about it. If it's mothers writing about tech, like we had our baby scene, and this is a natural product for if you have a child. Like I've heard people, their kids suckle on the phone, and it damages the phone, and like their iPhones die. So that's another market that we really didn't address at the start, and then we just tackled that. So think about how anyone could use your product. Don't make them do the work and put 2 + 2 together. Oh, it's an iPhone case, and it does this. Sell the story.
Right. The story is the most important thing. And then don't overwhelm them with a very long story either. Make it very simple and very clear, you know, so they can get it within a few seconds. Like, oh, I could be interested in that, you know, or like, wow, that's like super cool. But you know, you don't want to tell them like you're an entire novel or make them have to work to get the information out of it. Just be very clear. And we were given some advice on that as well, like to ask a question, because when you ask somebody a question, it engages them in the answer already, and then you can help guide them through that. So initially, we were just writing, you know, hey, check this out, it's cool, it's waterproof, blah blah blah, let's go to the beach. But then we wrote emails that I think were more engaging after like say the first week, where, you know, that's when June mentioned, like we asked, you know, how would you use this if you went to the beach? You know, what do you do when your iPhone is around kids? You know, things like that. So it gets them to think about their life and what's going on for them. We just want to relate to people, relate to who's writing a story, and make it relevant.
Yeah, relevant to their lives, how they're going to use it.
Got it. Tell stories and relevant to their lives.
Right.
Got it. When you're communicating to people. Awesome. Okay, great. So now you guys are in the project fulfillment phase, right? So tell me about how's that going.
It's taking us longer than we had anticipated, and managing the communication with everyone who has backed us on Kickstarter has been actually a challenge. You know, we are actually working all the time on this project, and when we do an update, it takes us about a day to put that together, just in terms of what we want to say. You know, going through the emails and what people have been concerned about, and it's been a job in itself to manage people's expectations. When we set up our tiers on Kickstarter, when you initially set those up, it doesn't ask for a completion date. But as we adjusted our tiers, this menu popped up where we had to identify when we're going to be potentially shipping the product. So at that time, we had talked with our engineers and had a rough production schedule that looked like we could be delivering products at the end of November. So we put that on our timeline in our tiers, and this has actually been a point of frustration, because, you know, as we got more deep into product development, we found that our project timeline was going to be extended, and our initial goal was to at least deliver it by Christmas, and we thought that was very feasible. And as we continued on this, it's like this: we're a very small company. Our first production run is a minimum run of 5,000 units that we're financing. And when a factory looks at a 5,000 unit order and a 100,000 unit order, their priorities are not on the small startup company. The vendor we're using is actually really excited about our project. They've been great working with us, but we're not extremely high priority for them.
Yeah.
So it's been a challenge to push this project forward like we can fix things in a day and then have a solution, but the factory will not respond to that for a few weeks sometimes. Or the process to modify things can take a month. So these are things that we could not have anticipated when we were setting our delivery estimate, and this has proved to be very frustrating for people who were expecting this for their ski trips this past winter or currently. And what's important, I think, to communicate and for people to get is that they're not actually ordering a product. It's not like going to Amazon.com and placing an order for a product at a reduced value and then it getting shipped. You're part of the process of creating a new product and a new idea, a new company, or whatever it is you're supporting. It's something to help communicate to people, because we found that a lot of the people who supported our project, it's their first time backing anything on Kickstarter.
Okay.
And so there's kind of an education process and a learning curve for us, and it's our first Kickstarter project too.
Yeah.
And there's been an expectation that, we've got prototypes, they're working. I mean, it should be just push the button and go. We're going to be there for a month. And I've done product design and product development for 10 years, and some projects go smoothly, and some projects don't. I designed a kitchen tool for a brand. I'm not going to go into who it was, but it was a very, very simple product. I mean, it scooped avocados, but it took 6 months to get that product out the door. And like we said in the beginning of this interview, the idea of creating a waterproof case for the iPhone occurred as a very simple thing. And actually, the solution is very clean and very very dialed in. But all the details and all the tolerances and all the little features, they actually just take time to produce.
Yeah.
We set the bar really high with our project, so it's not something very simple to make.
Yeah.
And to scale up from one single handmade prototype to making these commercially in mass is a different story. So that's a big learning point for a lot of Kickstarters. You might be able to make a single prototype, scaling it up and producing it in mass production, and then having it be consistent without problems. That's a whole different ballgame. So give yourself a little more time to manage that process, and be in communication with your backers to let them know when the timelines adjust. We were on Kickstarter with a few other projects at the same time that we tracked and supported, and they've all had project delays in their delivery time also. So it's actually very common to have your timeline stretch out a little bit. So I think that's just a part of the process of communicating to people about that, so that you can manage their expectations.
So how are you guys managing that?
We try to post an update every 2 to 3 weeks to give people a clear update of where we're at. We found that some people don't read them, and we get comments, why haven't you told us when it's going to be shipped? And it was in the last update, when we got and so it's.
But that's okay. I think it's just like finding the right effective communication
channel to communicate with people.
And if you have a big project, like we had so many people reach out and contact us. So just be forewarned before you launch that you might be busy full-time just talking to people. That's how we found it's like a full-time job.
Yeah, half the day is spent writing emails, and we can't even get to them all, which is part of the reason we stopped taking pre-orders on our other website. We just couldn't manage the communication.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we set up a notify system where we're putting people on a mailing list, and in the last 2 days, 50 people have signed up for that. So, it's continuing to grow. Even now, it's still going viral.
You got some good problems to have, I guess.
Yeah.
It's all good problems. Even the delays in production, they're actually good problems to have, because we're solving things that we could not have anticipated before, but they're actually making a better product out of it. So it's as long as you maintain a positive attitude and you are just communicating clearly, I think that anything's possible in terms of making this go forward.
Okay, so what are the main key takeaway for fulfilling your project in terms of creating a product?
Be in communication with people so that they know when to expect the product. Manage your timelines. Also know that once your project is successfully funded on Kickstarter, there's at least a 2-week delay before you get the money. So you have to make sure that all the some of the backer credit card payments don't go through And it takes at least a week or two to resolve that through Kickstarter and Amazon payments. So we had to help follow up. Amazon does that for you, but it's helpful if you do that. And then, then making sure your bank accounts are set up so that you can transfer the money to you when you need it.
Yeah.
So the funding isn't released to you right away. Second, just getting backer addresses, and you'll get to send out a backer survey to find out, to be in communication with all your backers on Kickstarter, get their addresses, find out the colors they want, where you're going to send product. So do that before you ship. People move, and they, it's good to be in communication with people and manage that expectation.
Okay, managing the expectation, be in communication with people. Got it. Anything from you, Josh? Anything else?
Well, it's like this. Every step of the process has taken at least twice as long as we expected it to.
Wow.
And, yeah, I mean, shooting the video, we thought we could get that done in a week. Well, weather doesn't cooperate. Friends aren't always available. Nothing. As they say, all the best.
Best laid plans.
Of mice and men. Yeah, all the best laid plans of mice and men. I mean, we've had great plans and great structure and all this all along, but you can't foresee what's going to get in the way. So I think giving yourself the space and giving people an expectation that is tempered with the reality of production has been a challenge. If there's a way to do that better, I mean, we'd like to know as well.
Okay.
It's hard to say. We're still learning as well.
Okay. Well, so right now I want to see if we can answer some questions. So James, you can let us know if there's any questions in the comments. So we got one already. So Andre said he wondered how the sound can get through the case if it's waterproof. Sure.
That's been a technical challenge for us as well. Essentially, we have very thin membranes. Let's see if you can see it. Very thin membranes at all of the microphones.
Yeah.
And there's a microphone on the top of the product. There's a speaker at the earpiece, and there's a microphone on the bottom and a speaker on the bottom. So we have thin membranes that allow sound to transfer in and out of the case, a bit like a drum. So the sound bounces off the membrane and transfers in and out to the microphones and speakers.
So you can hear. So that's how you can hear through the membranes.
Yep.
Hear and talk. Yeah.
Yep.
And Carl said he can text in the shower now. Is that possible?
That is very possible, actually. The thing about the touchscreen is a rigid touchscreen, so it's really responsive.
Can you? We can't see. Yeah. This way. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. When I first got the prototypes, I was watching some podcasts, video podcasts in the shower.
Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. All right. Any other questions, James? All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your time. Anything else you want to say?
Well, we're really excited about your project. We think it makes a lot of sense. We want to support you in any way possible. We're happy to help promote your project, and we think it's a great idea. Someone should have done it a while ago.
So my project, if you guys, for those of you who are watching, if you guys learn something from this interview, basically what I'm creating on Kickstarter is putting all these interviews together in one place, so you can learn all the tips and tricks and all the strategies and lessons learned from these people who are successful on Kickstarter, so you can fund the project that you love and passionate about. That's why I'm doing it, because it's amazing that you guys fulfilled. I mean, is it a dream for you guys to start a project like this and create something that's fun? I mean, you guys tell me.
Sure. I mean, I've wanted to do something like this for a long time, and finding the right partner, having the things come together to make it happen. It's just something that's there's never the right time, the right place, or anything. And for us, we just went for it, and it's been, as we said, a roller coaster of learning and just tackling what we need to do, and it's been honestly a lot of fun, and I don't know, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else right now than what I'm doing right now.
Okay, great. Wow. Not a lot of people can say that about your work.
no matter what happens, where we go from here, like I'm just so grateful to be a part of this, and I'm really profoundly humbled by how many people have been supportive of our project from around the world, from I don't know, 30 different countries or more. It's just been astonishing. I mean, you really feel like we're part of a very small world of a lot of very, very cool people. So it's been I don't know how to say it any other way than like it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we both say is there's this famous quote by Mark Twain, and he says, 20 years from now, I'm paraphrasing, but 20 years from now, the things that you'll regret are the things that you didn't do, not the things that you did do. Yeah.
So you guys definitely not regretting anything that you guys are doing here. I mean, that's just, I see that, that's what I saw, and I want to help more people like you guys fulfilling dreams, and myself included, and also everybody else, because this is a platform that for people to be able to do what they love and say, I don't want to be doing anything else but this right now, and make a living from it.
Well, work on that.
Well, you guys are definitely on the right track, man. I mean, it takes steps.
Thanks.
You guys are going. You guys are just freaking awesome. So thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you.
And then let's keep in touch, and that's it for today. Thank you. Thank you for watching. For everybody who's watching. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.